Welcome to FinFlam Unfiltered, where the bullshit stops here. This week delivered some heavy hits. We lost a longtime senator. Another one's health is dragging down the Senate business. Trump's clashing with outdated alliances overseas. Democrats got caught in their usual hypocrisy, and immigration enforcement is back in the spotlight with real consequences for regular Americans. I put the biggest stories, broke them down plain and simple, and laid out what they actually mean. Here's a clear-eyed look at the week from July 6th to July 12th. Number 1, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina passed away Saturday night after a brief illness. Preliminary reports point out that a aortic dissection from heart disease may have been the cause of his death. He had just returned from another trip to Ukraine. Trump called him one of the greatest senators he knew and said they spoke the night before. Tributes came from both parties, but Graham's record tells a real story. Graham spent decades pushing America into more wars and foreign interventions. He was 1,000% a warhawk. He was all in on Iraq, Libya, endless support for Ukraine, and constant pressure on Iran. He started criticizing Trump early on, but flipped to become one of his closest allies when it suited him. His death creates a hole in the Senate on defense and foreign policy votes. Let's hope the person that goes in after him does not follow that same track. Graham's brand of foreign policy cost American lives trillions of dollars and got us tangled in conflicts that never ended well. The world didn't get safer or freer from it. It oftentimes got messier because of it. Respect for the man in his service, but the constant warhawk push didn't serve regular Americans or make the planet better. His seat will go to a special election in South Carolina. The bigger question is, like I just said, who replaces that interventionist in the Senate? Next, right down the street, we got Mitch McConnell's long-held absence hurts the Senate. Mitch McConnell has been out of the Senate since mid-June after a fall left him unconscious and led to pneumonia. His office finally gave more details this week. He's recovering in rehab, supposedly, and working remotely, but not ready for the floor. At 84, his absence is already slowing down key votes. This is the problem when you have people who are this old, who are not functional, who shouldn't be in the Senate or in Congress, period, because they're not able to perform. McConnell has been the ultimate Washington insider for decades. He's blocked real reform, worked deals with Democrats when it helped the establishment, and kept the Senate running on his terms. That wasn't always a good thing. Let's not forget, Mitch McConnell is the reason why we have people like Julian Assange who weren't pardoned, people like Edward Snowden who weren't pardoned. He threatened, it came out in Trump's final months of his administration, the first one, that if he persisted and was going to go ahead and expunge the records of Edward Snowden and Julian Assange, he was going to go ahead and be that final vote to make sure he did get impeached for, I think, for the second or third time. McConnell hasn't been a strong conservative voice. He's a deal maker who's often slowed down the agenda voters actually wanted. His long grip on power and now his absence show why we need term limits and fresh leadership. Republicans are feeling the pinch on defense and spending fights. This isn't about wishing anyone ill. It's about recognizing the damage entrenched insiders do to the country. Trump clashes with NATO at the summit. The alliance is past its prime. President Trump wrapped up NATO summit in Turkey. He made it clear allies need to pay their fair share and push back hard on Iran. The usual tension between Trump and the old NATO structure was obvious again. Trump has always said NATO is outdated. I say the same thing. We should not be involved in foreign countries' wars, but look where we are now. Other countries free ride on American taxpayers and military power while we foot the bill. He's right. The alliance was built for a different era, not today's. NATO isn't some sacred good. It drags us into European squabbles and endless spending while countries like Germany and others underinvest in their own defense. Trump's approach forces accountability. Defense funding fights in Congress right now are about exactly this. How much we spend, where it goes, and whether it actually protects American interest or just props up foreign governments. These battles matter because wasted money on outdated alliances hurt our own military readiness and leaves regular citizens paying the tab for problems that aren't ours. We cannot and we should not have been the policemen of the world. We cannot continue to still become the policemen of the world. It's not sustainable. Next, Graham Platner suspends Maine Senate race. Democrats' hypocrisy on full display. Graham Platner, the Democratic candidate in Maine, suspended the Senate campaign this week after his Nazi allegiance and past comments came under heavy fire. Democrats and the left rushed to distance themselves once it became politically toxic. Platner had ties and statements that should have disqualified him from the start. The same people who screamed about extremism on the right suddenly had to scramble when one of their own got exposed. This is classic left-wing hypocrisy. They went years labeling anyone to the right of them as dangerous while protecting or ignoring their own problems until it hurt them at the ballot box. Platner's exit opens the door wider for Republicans in Maine. It shows the double standard. One side gets endless scrutiny, the other gets excuses until the media can't ignore them anymore. Voters see right through it. Number 5. Texas Hispanics show mixed reactions to Trump deportations. The real immigration picture. New polling showed Texas Hispanics have mixed views on Trump's deportation policies. Some support stronger enforcement, others have concerns. Trump's administration has ramped up immigration enforcement. ICE is doing the job of removing people who are here illegally. The mixed reaction in Texas shows it's not as simple as the media claims. Many illegal immigrants and citizens want the border secured and laws followed. I'm against illegal immigration. People coming here should do it the right way. Follow the law, go through the process. ICE has a legitimate role, but it has to operate within the law too. When people enter illegally, it puts pressure on wages, schools, hospitals, and communities, no matter what the left says. Legal immigration is fine when it's controlled and benefits the country, but open borders or catch and release hurts the very people already here trying to build a life. Enforcement that follows the rules protects everyone, citizens and those who came legally. The Texas polling shows a lot of Hispanic voters get that reality. Number 6, NATO and defense funding fights in Congress. Why it matters. Congress is in the middle of fights over defense spending and how much support goes to foreign allies. With McConnell out and Graham gone, the debates are getting sharper. Republicans want more money for actual American military strength, which I think is crazy. Democrats and some establishment types want to keep funding overseas commitments and international organizations. That is just plain stupid. When I said it's stupid, I was saying stupid because of the next sentence that was coming up regarding the Democrats. The bills are tied up over amounts, conditions, and priorities. These fights are crucial because defense dollars affect whether our military is ready to protect the homeland or just get used as a global police force, which we've been doing. Too much spending on NATO-style alliances and foreign aid drains resources that could go to border security, veterans, or actual readiness here at home. America first means prioritizing our own strength and not getting dragged into every conflict. The current battles show the split between those who want endless commitments and those who want smart, focused defense. Gonna go local here for a second. Number 7, Missouri and Kansas City. Supermajorities at risk and local primaries. Republicans have held supermajorities in Missouri and Kansas for years, but new analysis shows both are vulnerable in 2026. Democrats need to flip a handful of seats to break them. August 4th primaries in the Kansas City area include congressional and state legislative races, plus local ballot issues. After a long stretch of one-party dominance in the state houses, the maps and voter sentiment are shifting. Local issues like taxes, crime, and development are mixing with national trends. These state-level fights matter a lot. Supermajorities let one side ram through agendas without checks. If they slip, it changes budgets, redistricting, and how much power flows to places like Kansas City or St. Louis. Voters in Missouri and Kansas should pay attention to the August primaries. That's where the real choices start. That's the unfiltered picture of the week. Graham's passing highlights the cost of constant interventionism. McConnell's absence shows the problems with long-term insiders. Trump's NATO stance is long overdue. Democrats got exposed on Platner. Immigration enforcement needs to be lawful and consistent. And the defense fights in Congress decide whether we spend smart or keep writing blank checks overseas. Head to FinFlam.com for deeper articles. Drop your thoughts. What stood out to you this week? Thanks for listening. Stay sharp and keep questioning everything. I'll be here next week. This is Big John with FinFlam Unfiltered, where the bullshit stops right here.